Hello, hello, hello. Good evening and welcome back to episode number 22 of Funchayat. And as the fellowship comes to an end in about the next 2 months, we are trying to cover every single state, at least one district from every single state. And on that note, we have first ever fellow from Nagaland, Sagnik Mitra, who is posted in Tuensang district. Next, we have from Hapur district of Uttar Pradesh, Aditya Tiwari. From Jajpur district of Odisha, we have Sobhit Kumar Bishi. And finally, from Kabirdham district of Chhattisgarh, we have Kumud Mishra. So let's start the discussion for tonight. First of all, I'd like to pass on to Aditya.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Let's start with some professionally. Okay, so I have been a पीछे का route what if I describe about myself, it has been all conventional. BTech किया है मैंने electronics engineering. उसके बाद UPSC preparation, the same very saga which I feel most of you must be carrying. फिर job किया 2 साल, फिर then अपना first graduation के बाद 2 साल prepare किया, फिर 2 साल job किया, फिर 2 साल अपना fellowship में अभी चल रहा हूँ. So talking about my background, I belong to Balia district of Uttar Pradesh. So Balia is the easternmost district of Uttar Pradesh. It is almost surrounded by Bihar from 3 sides. All these districts. Actually, I have never been there. I have been there, but very rarely, like twice or once or twice in a year, mostly. So most of the time I have moved with my father. My father works for Vedant Industries. So most of the time I have moved with my father. So all my schooling and graduation, it is across states. And even my address in different ID cards of Aadhaar card, PAN card, it is also different from different states. So
Same thing.
Okay.
Not states, but yeah.
So now I'll come to my district, Hapur. Hapur is geographically the area-wise the smallest district of Uttar Pradesh, and it lies in the western area of Uttar Pradesh. And I know that most of you must not have heard about Hapur earlier also. So just to give some references, Hapur is just sandwiched between Ghaziabad and Meerut. Ghaziabad and Meerut to pata hoga na?
Yeah.
So
for all the wrong reasons, but yeah.
Meerut was Hastinapur in Mahabharat context.
इतना पीछे नहीं जाते हैं.
शंख की आवाज आई.
Yeah, neither Hastinapur. Shank bajaki.
Just when you mentioned Hastinapur, we had like a conch shell blowing.
Was that a train or something?
Okay, fine. Aditya.
Yeah, so Hapur is the smallest district and it is a latest district also. I think 2012 में ये form हुआ था and 13-14
carved out of
Ghaziabad.
Okay.
Yeah, so 3 tehsils हैं Ghaziabad की. I would name them. Hapur is it was earlier one of the tehsils of Ghaziabad. Hapur, Gadmukteshwar and Pilakwa. मतलब block wise block 4 है and tehsil 3. So the Gadmukteshwar region जो है ना हमारा Hapur का, it is a considered a holy place. It is considered mini Haridwar. तो जो बड़े बुजुर्ग या बूढ़े लोग हरिद्वार तक
हरिद्वार oh okay.
Not Hyderabad. So जो बड़े बुजुर्ग हैं जो हैदराबाद तो जो बड़े बुजुर्ग हैं जो हरिद्वार तक नहीं जा सकते, जिनको एज अलाउ नहीं करती, तो यहाँ पे गंगा नहा लेते हैं. तो ये एक रीजनल होली प्लेस है. तो टूरिज्म के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने अभी G20 समिट से पहले इन्वेस्टर समिट हुई थी. तो इन्वेस्टर सो गढ़मुक्तेश्वर हमारा रीजन है, तो यहाँ पे काफी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हमने मतलब अट्रैक्ट की हैं. ऐसा
गढ़मुक्तेश्वर
मुझे ऐसा लग रहा सर.
गढ़मुक्तेश्वर आई थिंक NH के ऊपर ही है. आई थिंक एक्सप्रेस वे कमिंग फ्रॉम दिल्ली आने के रास्ते में. I cross across the place actually few days.
Just you have talked about NH. तो यहाँ की वेस्टर्न यूपी की जो यूएसपी है जो मुझे लगती है, और हापुड़ की भी जो यूएसपी है, मतलब हापुड़ की जो लोकेशन है वेस्टर्न यूपी में, इट इज वेरी स्ट्रेटेजिक. मतलब you could go to Ghaziabad, Meerut, Delhi, Noida or Bulandshahr, any of their joining districts within 30 to 45 minutes, and they are all like 40-50 kilometers. The Delhi is 55 kilometers from Hapur. So हापुड़ की दो यूएसपी, जो एक तो इसी जो होलीनेस है ड्यू टू गढ़मुक्तेश्वर, जो टूरिज्म का जरा भी स्कोप है वो गढ़मुक्तेश्वर से. And the second thing which I feel that it is the strategic location of Hapur. So इस फैक्टर को कंसीडर करते हुए मैंने एक प्रपोजल भी दिया था, वो कुछ हो नहीं पाया. I would talk about it. तो फाइनेंशियली वायबल नहीं लग रहा था, और एक्चुअली हो सकता है that I also had somewhat limited information about this district. It was in the earlier days only. So इसके logistics sector को promotion देने के लिए, just because of its location, I tried to draft a project kind of thing, but it remained in papers only. Okay, so I will pause it here.
Yeah, sure. Kumud?
Sure. Hi. So, as you all know, my name is Kumud and I'm posted in Kabirdham district. Firstly, about my district, I would like to say that this is a district which has the oldest sugar factory of Chhattisgarh. So, the district is full of sugarcane cultivation and has two, like, of the four sugar factories that we have in the state, two of them are here in Kabirdham. And coming to the tourism part, so you all must be aware about Khajuraho in Madhya Pradesh. So this place has a very famous temple from 11th century. It's Boram Dev temple, and that place is known as Chhattisgarh ka Khajuraho. So काफी सुंदर है, बहुत अच्छा है उसका architecture and everything. It was made by a tribal king for Lord Shiva. The name of the king was Boram Dev. So we worship Lord Shiva, but it is famous as Boram Dev temple. Apart from that, coming to myself, I have completed my graduation in financial markets as well as my masters in finance from both of them from Banaras University. So I could relate to whenever it's about UP, I just feel okay, yeah, I had my college there. So after doing that, immediately in 21, I completed my PG and I got into this. So meanwhile, I was preparing for PhD. I wanted to get into academics further, but then this came up. So I thought, why not have a little bit of work experience and see how it goes. That is why I chose this fellowship. And then I'm coming back to my pre-MGNF plans. I'm still stick to PhD and I would continue with that. So that's all probably. Something that I can be proudly telling you all about myself is, so meanwhile, when I was here in Kabirdham, I got an opportunity to learn karate. And I recently competed for my black belt exam, and I got few tournaments to play and represented Chhattisgarh. So I've been active in sports, something that I kind of boast about because I have also played badminton, ska national, and a few states in athletics. That's all.
So this karate wala experience happened in the last 1.5 years in this fellowship itself?
Yeah. So
No, not audible.
No, can't hear you, Kumud.
better now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was in post-graduation in college, I started learning Taekwondo over there in BHU. And I did it till green belt, yeah. And then because of the COVID, everything paused and I came here. So I couldn't find Taekwondo again. So we had karate, yeah. So I started karate. So I was kind of already trained. So it took me lesser time to complete and, compete for black belt. Otherwise, naturally, karate, it takes around 3 to 4 years to get to black belt. But I completed in almost 2 years.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's quite astonishing how in a short span it was black belt.
So I started very soon after I joined.
Kumud, Mahanadi is going through your district. Mahanadi.
Sorry? No,
Mahanadi River.
No, it doesn't.
Because sugarcane, that needs water for sugarcane.
No, we have Sagnik Mitra. None of these bigger rivers come. This area, part of this area, few blocks are drought prone, and then we have few blocks who are plenty of water and sugarcane. So that's how it is.
And what do you pursue for your educational background?
I did my graduation in financial markets management and then my master's in finance.
So with
That's all.
Yeah. Hi, this is Sobhit, and I'm from Odisha, western part of Odisha. My district is Nuapada, and I have posted in Jajpur district. And Jajpur is known for the ancient capital of Odisha. Before, now the Bhubaneswar is the capital of Odisha. Before independence, Cuttack was the capital. Cuttack, one of the ancient city. And there is a stadium also, international stadium. And before that, Jajpur was the capital. So it is one of the very ancient place, and there was it is one of the Shakti Peeth. Ma Viraja temple is there. So many devotees from all across India, particularly from Odisha and South Odisha, Andhra and other parts, they come to this place. And other than that, Buddhist monastery, there was Buddhist monastery, and it is also known for a diamond triangle. There are 3 Buddhist sites are there, and it was purely it was unknown to people, and later on Archaeological Survey of India excavated in 1950s, and Then there was even it is claimed that there was an university there. So two places are coming in Jajpur, Ratnagiri and Udaygiri, and it is quite fascinating to see the site, the architecture and the uh, stone carvings are really amazing. And my district is also popular for stone carving. It is one of the one district, one product ODOP, and it is both industrialized and agriculture. Like there are two parts of the district. One part is very plain. It is even there are many rivers. The surface water is abundant, uh, and another part is adjacent to industrialized district, like mines. Steel. It is one of the largest steel producing place. It is known as Kalinganagar, and in terms of connectivity, it is well connected with railway, and it is around 150 kilometers from the state capital, and well connected with roadways also. This Kolkata to Chennai quadrilateral that road is also passing through the district. And in terms of agricultural production also, there is fertile land, sugarcane, groundnut, paddy, all are produced in large number. All the big companies, Tata, Jindal, then other steel manufacturing companies are there. So it is kind of mixed economy. A part of the district is very different from the other part of the district, and it is one of the coastal districts. So you will find lots of greenery, and there is huge potential for tourism, like in terms of eco tourism and spiritual tourism. There is a need of building infrastructure. So I always say it is, and there are places like the Samit Ghat. There is a Dasamit Ghat in Banaras, and only the king who were very supreme and very powerful, they used to organize such yajna at that time. So one of the king of Odisha, he organized, and there is a river known as Vaitarani, and it is on the bank of a river. So I feel the district has a very uh, historical significance, but there is a need of uh, making it popular now, because at present, the in terms of tourism and all, it is lagging behind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like a lot of names were, I could find a relation because Ratnagiri, Siddhesh is posting Ratnagiri, right? And then there is an Udgir fort, which originally was Udaygiri. So, yeah,
I had these recalls as well.
yeah. And then again, the river that you mentioned, was it?
Vaitarani, Vaitarani.
Exactly. We have
This is
Vaitarana,
Vaitarna.
Vaitarana.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
So
And
many
it is even
repetitions of
mentioned in the Hindu scriptures, many
right.
mention of this river, and you will find it emerging the water storage system at that time. It
Yeah,
is
right.
built in, I think, 13th, 14th century, and they had that. It is built in a hill, on the top of a hill kind of thing,
Right.
and they have that water storage system. So it is very fascinating.
Wow, that's good. Okay, so finally, Sagnik.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, perfect.
So, I am Sagnik. Hi, everyone. I'll first talk about my district. I'm posted in Tuensang district of Nagaland. So, I'll talk more about Tuensang is in the eastern. So, to understand Nagaland, you have to understand Nagaland is divided in geographically. There are two halves which dictates उसके आगे का socio-economic जो भी conditions है. It's based on that geography. So one is the western half, जिसमें दीमापुर, कोहिमा ऐसे बड़े बड़े शहर हैं, and the other half is eastern Nagaland. तो ये आप लोगों ने शायद सुना होगा, एनपो का इशू चल रहा है statehood demand के लिए.
Yeah.
So my district is the headquarters for that. So last year काफी rallies हो रही थी, there were heated discussions, meetings हो रही थी. But so my district is the frontier district. It's also called the frontier district of Nagaland. तो historically क्या है कि when the British को मतलब British से ही शुरू करते उसके पहले का तो मुझे भी नहीं पता. तो when the Britishers came, so they colonized parts of western Nagaland, Kohima, Dimapur. So this was all part of Assam at that time.
Okay.
But जो ईस्टर्न नागालैंड का पार्ट है, which stretches from Assam border करता है, नीचे मणिपुर border करता है, और ऊपर और जो इधर वाला साइड है दैट्स ऑल म्यांमार. सो माय डिस्ट्रिक्ट यूज टू बॉर्डर म्यांमार, बट अभी एक नया डिस्ट्रिक्ट बन गया है, तो अब दैट इज द लास्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट. तो even Britishers couldn't colonize this area, the eastern part. It was that forested and that unnavigable at that time.
Okay.
So इस वजह से it is a historical reason why development could not, मतलब that is what people say कि हुआ क्या उस टाइम पे कि because with the Britishers came education, missionary education. So it is a highly Christian dominant state, Nagaland. So अब क्या हुआ कि जब इवन जब इंडिया में इनका इनकॉर्पोरेशन हुआ लाइक एज अ स्टेट इन द ईयर 1963, तो तब भी नागालैंड में ट्वेंसांग एंड ये जो एडजेसेंट एरियाज थे, तो ऑल द डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स वेयर वी हैव फेलोज राइट नाउ इन द ईस्टर्न हाफ, वी हैव 6 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. यस. तो ये सब वेर पार्ट ऑफ ट्वेंसांग. तो ट्वेंसांग वाज द ओनली डिस्ट्रिक्ट व्हिच वाज रिकॉग्नाइज्ड. So there were only 3 districts in Nagaland at the beginning: Kohima, Mokokchung और ट्वेंसांग.
Okay.
तो फिर ट्वेंसांग की कट के सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स बने. एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट तो मेरे आने के बाद बना है, लाइक लास्ट ईयर.
So if it was that prominent, why is that not the capital? Or Kohima is in your district? नहीं ना,
दैट इज द स्टोरी ऑफ नागालैंड. यही तो है. सो क्या हुआ कि इट इज अ ट्राइबल सोसाइटी.
Okay.
सो इट्स सो फैसिनेटिंग कि यहाँ पे जो कॉमन लैंग्वेज है, मतलब जो लिंग्वा फ्रैंका बोल सकते हैं, दैट इज नागामीज. सो
Okay.
ये अब हम सब ने भी सीख ली है, मतलब हम 12 के 12 लोग हैव वर्किंग प्रोफिशिएंसी ऑफ नागामीज.
Wow.
बट द प्रॉब्लम इज कि एवरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट स्पीक्स इट्स ओन लैंग्वेज
Okay.
which has no resemblance
Interesting.
at all. Like in my district is the only district which has multiple tribes. So there's one dominant Chang tribe. There's 2 main tribes, Chang tribe and Sangtam tribe. अब इससे पहले जो मैंने बताया पिछले साल एक अलग डिस्ट्रिक्ट बना which was शामादोर, तो उसमें एक और ट्राइब थे युमचुंगर, तो इनका अलग हो गया. इससे पहले कुमुद नोज लाइक वी आर फ्रॉम द सेम कोहॉर्ट. सो वन ऑफ माय को फेलो जयंत आहूजा, जो हु इज अ फेलो ऑफ नोकलाक डिस्ट्रिक्ट, तो उसका डिस्ट्रिक्ट 2017 में अलग हुआ था. तो दैट हैड अनदर ट्राइब. तो इससे पहले लाइक जितने भी मेरे IIM के आज तक रिपोर्ट्स गए हैं, उसमें जो पुराने साइटेशंस है, इट हैज 4 ट्राइब्स लाइक ऑफिशियली. बट अभी बिकॉज ऑफ द बाइफर्केशंस एंड इट हैज बिकम अ पॉलिटिकल इशू, तो अभी ऑफिशियली देयर आर 2 recognized tribes in my district. और ये दोनों की भाषा भी बिल्कुल अलग है, मतलब इट हैज नो रिजेम्बलेंस विद नागामीज. सो मतलब लोग बोलते हैं नागामीज हैज नो स्क्रिप्ट, इट इज कम्प्लीटली मतलब सिर्फ डायलेक्चुअल है. तो ऐसा कोई स्क्रिप्ट नहीं है, कोई डॉक्यूमेंटेशन नहीं है. बट द ट्राइबल लैंग्वेजेस डू हैव डॉक्यूमेंटेशन. तो आपको बाइबल भी मिल जाएगी ट्राइबल लैंग्वेज में यहाँ पे हर एक ट्राइब की. सो इसके वजह से क्या हुआ है कि इवन व्हेन इट वाज इनकॉर्पोरेट, मतलब ट्वेंसांग वाज पार्ट ऑफ नागा हिल डिस्ट्रिक्ट बोलते थे इसको, जो ये पार्ट था ईस्टर्न नागालैंड का, जहाँ पे मतलब ब्रिटिशर्स लाइक डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर का ऑफिस नहीं था, मतलब स्पीकिंग इन दैट सेंस. तो यहाँ पे आउटपोस्ट थे और कोई एज सच एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सर्कल नहीं था सर. तो ये यूनिट्स को इनकॉर्पोरेट किया गया इंडिया में जब 1962 में. इट वाज मेड पार्ट ऑफ नागालैंड. सो तभी से डिवाइड चल रहा है. दैट इज लाइक अ ब्रीफ बेस लाइक हिस्ट्री ऑफ माय डिस्ट्रिक्ट, कि तभी से डिवाइड चल रहा है कि दे आर नॉट पार्ट ऑफ द umbrella term called Nagaland, because every district identifies themselves as their tribe. And it's a like एक नागालिम बोल के कॉन्सेप्ट है यहाँ पे, which is pan, like Nagas living pan, not just pan across India but pan across parts of Burma as well. So like एक मोन बोल के डिस्ट्रिक्ट है नागालैंड में. So I think आप गूगल करेंगे तो इट्स वेरी फेमस. So मोन में there's a village called Longwa, जहाँ पे किचन इंडिया में है और आपका डाइनिंग एरिया इज इन म्यांमार. तो यस, इट इज एग्जैक्टली वन सिंगल हाउस. और मैं ये भी बताऊंगा कि आज तक मैं उस विलेज में क्यों नहीं जा पाया, विच इज वेरी नियर बाय माय डिस्ट्रिक्ट, बिकॉज अगेन डेवलपमेंट प्रॉब्लम्स इन नागालैंड. सो लाइक बेसिकली द ज्योग्राफी इज दैट कि ईस्टर्न वेस्टर्न हाफ में बहुत डिफरेंस है in terms of development, in terms of education, health, और बाकी जो भी एक मतलब एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे अगर हम बात करें जो डेवलपमेंट डिफाइन करती है. And culture की बात करें तो I am the only district which has two prominently officially recognized दो अलग अलग tribes हैं. और इसको लैंड ऑफ कल्चर भी बोलते हैं. हर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट का एक लाइक दे हैव अ फीचर. तो मेरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट का ये है कि इट्स कल्चरली वेरी अबंडेंट, काफी हिस्ट्री है. वी हैव टूरिज्म की बात हो रही थी, बट लाइक वी हैव अ ह्यूमन केव, सॉरी स्कल केव in Nagaland, in my district.
Okay.
It's made of human skulls. So there used to be like a practice of head hunting in the district, which had been like last जो वॉर हुई थी वो मेरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट और ये मोन डिस्ट्रिक्ट की जो मैं बात कर रहा हूँ इनके विलेजर्स के बीच हुई थी. सो वी हैव अ थिंग कॉल्ड दाव, जो एक मतलब बड़े से हथियार की जैसा है. लाइक आई शो इट समहाउ. So
Do you
ये
show
है.
it as in a photo, right? You don't have one at your place.
I can get
You
it
never
from my
know.
neighbor.
You never know.
Yeah.
Like खाना मैं तो पनीर का डिब्बा तोड़ता हूँ उससे. मतलब you use it for other reasons also.
Yeah.
It's like a extended knife.
Right.
So and it's a
Like we
symbol
had
of
fellows from Arunachal who were telling us unke the tribal people, they carry a shotgun with them.
yeah. Here you'll find, like when we
Yeah.
come back from the capital, you'll find.
So,
It's a cultural thing as well.
cultural
Like
thing.
it's-
Yeah, exactly. The other thing I was going to ask you is like how, given that all these tribes, they have different languages and culture, slightly different. So how are their relations amongst each other? Because now we are your neighboring state, we are seeing all the burning going on. So
How far back was that though? That conflict between the two districts, the two cultures?
That was in the 60s to 1960s, 70s. में the last head hunting, मतलब which we have heard of.
Yeah.
तो वो तभी हुआ था. So like the relations are very cordial. Like
okay.
मतलब जितना community का sense हमने यहाँ देखा है, I have never seen it anywhere. Like parts of India I have been to, कि इतना brotherhood और sense of fraternity जो यहाँ पे है, वो कहीं और नहीं देखने. मतलब we do not have, इतनी poverty है, इतना development divide है, but we do not ever get cases of malnutrition or ever get cases of starvation. Because that sense of community, that sense of, you know, एक मोरूंग बोल के concept है यहाँ पे. तो मतलब it's sort of जैसे बैठक होती है ना हमारे नॉर्थ इंडिया में, कि आप एक जगह पे मतलब बैठ के इट्स लाइक अ कम्युनिटी, आप बैठ के बात करते हो. तो यहाँ पे मोरूंग का कॉन्सेप्ट होता है. इट्स लाइक अ सोशल इंस्टीट्यूट बोल सकते हैं. तो यहाँ पे मतलब पहले तो होता था कि बॉयज यूज टू, लड़कों लड़कियों का मोरूंग अलग होता था, लाइक लड़कों का मोरूंग होता था सिर्फ. एंड दे यूज टू लर्न ऑल द लाइक जो लाइवलीहुड एक्टिविटीज है, एग्रीकल्चर ये वो, एंड सॉर्ट ऑफ जो उनके कल्चरल ईथॉस है जो उनको सिखाए जाते हैं. इट्स अ वेरी प्रोमिनेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन इन. उसका एक सिंबल भी होता है. इवन द डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर्स रेसिडेंस इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट इज इन द शेप ऑफ अ मोरूंग, like a part of it, like not the entire house. So like that is the cultural part. But as far as the relations are concerned, obviously eastern western districts mein, this is something which we realized after staying here, कि मतलब it is cordial but इतना भी अच्छा नहीं है. Like the problem is कि जो western parts है, they have the economic upper hand.
Right.
कि उनके they own the jobs, they own all the like even यहाँ का एक ही जॉब जो सबसे बड़ा सेक्टर है, गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर. So like high, मतलब 90% of workforce works in the government sector. So उसमें सब कोई, almost all my officers I have been, all my officers, like all my officers of my co-fellows are from the western tribes. तो इससे क्या होता है कि मतलब अब now logic dictates कि just because they have the economic upper hand, तो society धीरे धीरे stratify हो गई है.
Right.
Which was not the case like in the beginning, but अब हो गया है. तो उसमें काफी
Sagnik, I might have missed this part. आपने बताया आप कहाँ से हैं? Where are you from?
अच्छा हाँ, मैंने सॉरी मैं इस पे आया ही नहीं. सो मैं झारखंड से हूँ. मैं गिरिडीह डिस्ट्रिक्ट से हूँ, झारखंड से. तो पला बड़ा यही हूँ. एंड देन आई वेंट फॉर माई ग्रेजुएशन इन कोलकाता. आई ऑल्सो हैव अ डिग्री इन फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स एंड इकोनॉमिक्स लाइक कुमुद. एंड उसके बाद आई डिड स्टार्ट प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर यूपीएससी फॉर आई थिंक 6 months, बट उससे पहले एमजीएनएफ का एग्जाम हो गया. सो
What district was that again? What home district?
गिरिडीह झारखंड.
I think I've heard that Gildi Dhanbad bus Is that the one?
That's a Wasipur ke. Wasipur is like 30
Yeah.
minutes from my place.
Yeah. That when he's running his taxi, he's Giridi, then Bhadas, Giridi, then Bhadas.
In episode number 11, we had Giridi fellow from.
Yeah,
yeah.
Nitesh.
Nitesh.
Vedant, you even recall that episode number?
Yeah, actually, I was first. I and Vedant had a talk about that episode. I was about to feature in 11th episode, but I made it in this second.
It's all right. Okay, so.
So you're I am Ranchi, both of you.
No. Actually, we are at IIM Kozhikode, Kerala.
Amazing.
So should we start talking about the projects that we have been engaged with? Okay, Aditya.
Okay, so as I was talking about, first the project which I thought that I can initiate here. It was about the logistics sector. I thought that this sector has immense potential, considering the geography of this district, and also the nearest warehouses or the cold storage houses where we could store anything like perishable goods, or even to help the e-commerce and the logistics sector. It is near in the Delhi NCR region, Delhi, Gurgaon. So यूपी के पूरे इस जो वेस्टर्न यूपी से लेके अगर लखनऊ तक जो ईस्ट की साइड अगर हम मूव करें तो आई डेंट फाइंड एनी डिस्ट्रिक्ट वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स इट, मतलब और वेस्टर्न यूपी में हाईवेज एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का डेवलपमेंट काफी रैम्पेंट है लास्ट 5 to 10 years में, ऐसा देखा मैंने यहाँ पे। तो मुझे लगा कि इनिशिएट कर सकते हैं, और वायबल फंडिंग के सोर्सेज आई थॉट कि CSR फंडिंग, और इफ यू कैन लिवरेज द दिस सॉफ्ट पावर ऑफ दिस IAS ऑफिसर्स एंड ऑल, और इन्वेस्टर समिट हो रही है एक्सेट्रा, तो इसमें कुछ कर सकते हैं। तो मेनली आई वाज एंगेज्ड इन द प्लानिंग एंड ऑल द पेपर वर्क्स एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स ओनली। एक्चुअली 1-to-1 इंटरेक्शन भी हुआ कुछ इंडस्ट्रियल पार्टनर्स से, दे शोड समवॉट इंटरेस्ट एंड बट एवरीवन वाज लाइक दैट कि मतलब हमें कुछ शासन से आप वो लाइए, जैसा कुछ एश्योरेंस लाइए, या मतलब कुछ, मतलब आप मुझे दिखाओ, आप मुझे एज अ कंसल्टेंट आप मुझे कुछ दिखाओ, पीपीटी बनाओ, कुछ ऐसा मेरे सामने आओ और मुझे दिखाओ कि क्या प्रोस्पेक्ट्स हैं, कुछ नंबर्स में बात करो, आप डोंट बी जस्ट वेरी सब्जेक्टिव। अब इतना एक इंडस्ट्री पार्टनर से पीछे भागना एंड ऑल, इट बिकेम हेक्टिक फॉर मी ओनली। तो आई थॉट कि जब कभी मीटिंग होगी लाइक इन उत्तर प्रदेश वी हैव दैट उद्योग बंधु मीटिंग, वहां पे दैट district magistrate calls all these industrial partners and all the government officials, and they complain that हमारे यहाँ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का प्रॉब्लम है, रोड का प्रॉब्लम है, डीएम इज लाइक कि चलो कराओ, ये कराओ, उसका पेपर बनाओ, ये काम कराओ। तो आई थॉट कि उस मीटिंग में प्रपोज कर सकते हैं, एंड वहाँ पे अगर कुछ हो पाया तो देखते हैं इसको। देन वहाँ पे डिस्कशन हुए इसको, बट डिस्कशंस ही हो रहे हैं, फिर डिस्कशंस। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एक तो ये था तो जो कुछ किया। सेकंड, ये तो माय मेंटर शी ओनली आस्क्ड मी to draft a white paper regarding establishing a skill university in Uttar Pradesh. This is the first time any district can do. So मैंने थोड़ा इस पे पीछे का बैकग्राउंड देखा कि स्किल यूनिवर्सिटीज जनरली कैसे करिकुलम रन कर रही हैं और कितने साल से रन कर रही है, किसी स्टेट में है भी या नहीं। तो आई फाउंड दैट दिल्ली एंड हरियाणा में ऑलरेडी स्किल यूनिवर्सिटीज एस्टैब्लिश्ड है, एंड हरियाणा वाज द फर्स्ट वन, विश्वकर्मा स्किल यूनिवर्सिटी इज द फर्स्ट वन इन इंडिया। सो वहाँ के कुछ फेलो से बात हुई, एंड वहां से फिर उनके करिकुलम पे और वहां पे उनके अगैड्स में कॉन्टेक्ट वगैरह किया। तो आई एम ड्राफ्टिंग, वो तो अभी ड्राफ्ट स्टेज में, मतलब वो तो मैं सबमिट करके जाऊंगा, मतलब आई डोंट थिंक दे वुड लीव मी, सो वो तो मुझे सबमिट करना है। तो दीज आर टू प्रोजेक्ट्स व्हिच आई फील दैट आई हैव सिग्निफिकेंटली वर्कड अपॉन। थर्ड, एंड फ्रॉम आई वुड नॉट कॉल इट अ project or something like it, it was just an initiative establishing space science labs, like in one of the second or last third episode, I guess Abhishek was here from Siddharth Nagar, if you remember.
14.
So he's the pioneer in establishing all these. So he collaborated with one of the agencies. They work with ISRO, or they have, I think they have got affiliation.
SOVA skills. Sorry for interrupting. Is it SOVA skills?
Yeah, the Vyomika Space Labs.
Vyomika, yeah, those very good.
They have reached out to MGNF like.
You should catch Abhishek for that. Abhishek has just propagated our contact details. So yeah, so उनके साथ भी थोड़ा कांटेक्ट हुआ। मैंने अपने मेंटर से भी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के थ्रू कुछ तो कराया, पीपीटीज वगैरह रेडी कराई, कुछ बताया कि ऐसा हम कर सकते हैं। एंड उसके डिस्ट्रिक्ट के मेंटर ने भी उत्तर प्रदेश के चीफ सेक्रेटरी को प्रेजेंटेशन दी थी that we are coming up with this all new unique initiative. So एक आईएएस को देख के एक आईएएस जितना इंस्पायर हो सकता है या अट्रैक्ट हो सकता है किसी इनिशिएटिव पे, हमारे कैसे नहीं हो सकता। सो एक्चुअली ये भी हो रहा था उसके डिस्ट्रिक्ट में. सो उसमें बट हमने वो स्टेब्लिश किया है बट उन लोगों के साथ नहीं किया. ऑल दोस फॉर ऑब्वियस रीजंस, जो वो बैक चैनल में चलती रहती हैं नेगोशिएशंस विद गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर्स, तो वो भी स्टेब्लिश करने में एक रोल प्ले किया. दिस इज ऑल. हाँ, और तो कुछ ऐसा खास नहीं है. और एवरीथिंग लाइक एनईपी, अप्रेंटिसशिप, प्रमोशन एंड ये तो सबके बैग में है. इट इज इन एवरीवन्स पोर्टफोलियो. देयर इज नथिंग स्पेशल.
Okay, cool. Kumud?
So the first thing that I would want to talk about is कि when we initially joined the trainings कुछ हो नहीं रही थी हमारे यहाँ पे. So after the training started in probably March 22 was when I started engaging with the students. So Chhattisgarh has this concept of livelihood colleges, one in every district, which is kind of a skill institution or maybe a college, not an institution exactly. So
So
यहाँ
are these
पे
aligned with the
उन्हें
ITIs, or are these aligned with the ITIs, or they are independent?
no, they so Chhattisgarh State Skill Development Authority, the SSDA of the state, under them this works as
Correct.
District Project Livelihood College Society. So so we our sitting as well as in livelihood colleges, and the entire DSDA is like set up there. तो वहाँ पे MMKVY, PMKVY की दोनों trainings चल रही है. So with the students coming up, I started spoken English classes for the students. So why I started this was when I used to interact with students. So most of them ऐसे बच्चे आते थे मतलब nearby villages से और गाँव से ऐसे. So they a few words if I would ever speak in English, they were like, "Ma'am," one of them actually came up to me and said, "Ma'am, आपकी English बहुत अच्छी है. Can you please teach us?" So that was when I got कि why not, like ऑफिस में है अभी ऐसे डेटा कलेक्शन के अलावा कुछ और काम नहीं है. So I started taking spoken English classes. Unfortunately till date मतलब अभी भी जितनी भी बैचेस चलते हैं, so I take their soft skill and spoken English classes. And so that was the first thing which is still continuing. Second thing which I worked on was so I told Bhoram Dev temple जो है यहाँ पे, which is very famous one. तो हर साल एक Bhoram Dev महोत्सव होता है. तो होली के 13 days के बाद होता है. So aligning to that महोत्सव because it fetches around more than 1 lakh people on those 2 to 3 days का जो event होता है. So I planned up a ecotourism meet with all the influencers, tourism influencers and operators from Chhattisgarh. क्योंकि कवर्धा बहुत सुंदर जगह है, but it has like never did something related to tourism. So that is how we planned that event. It was a 2-day 1-night event for all the influencers, and that went great. So currently उसका main मतलब purpose ऐसा है कि it was a 2-day influencer meet, and अभी हम लोग we took a round of 4 to 5 months to prepare everything, homestays और tribals को include करना. उसका main purpose ये भी था कि हमारे जो Baiga और Gond tribes हैं उनको promote करना, उनका culture, उनका livelihood. Guys, just a minute. Can I take a quick break just to plug in my charger? So उस project में mainly it was that we wanted to promote the rural and tribal tourism. And this place has mainly Bega and Gond tribes. So we did all of that. We took them for a village walk. They interacted with all the tribal people, even attended a marriage festival of the tribals. So we have taken these 4 to 6 months to develop everything and set up everything. And we are targeting to do trekking and camping activities, because this area has a very beautiful rainfall, which is like 200 feet. Rani Thera rainfall, sorry, waterfall. And another mountain range, Chilfi Ghati, is very famous here. So that is something which I worked on. So my collector sir is quite interested after I started, like initiated on tourism. So he has been assigning me a few other tasks to be done related to tourism. Third thing, which is like ongoing project right now, is this Rural India Skilling Empowerment with Microsoft Philanthropy. So we have completed our TOT, the training of trainers. Here we have targeted 10 government schools, all in rural areas or in the tribal areas, jungle areas. And we have trained 10 people who would be training the students physically on 4 main things: digital productivity, entrepreneurship, employability, and another one of. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So RISE project is what we have done. So this is like ongoing. We've done the mobilization batches. Probably next week start the training. So Microsoft India also provides placement assistance to the students, and especially the rural women for work from home services. So that is what we are planning in next week. We are starting with the school students. This was my third project. The other one is, which is very close to my heart, is working for sex workers. So Kabirdham has one legal brothel, and it is the only legal brothel in the entire Chhattisgarh. And I have wanted to work for them for very long, but it was थोड़ा sensitive था, थोड़ा ऐसा था, तो I was not permitted initially, but then gradually after pestering my collector sir and my CO Jila Panchayat, they were like, okay, finally, please do it. You otherwise you'll come to my office every week. So I got to work on that, and so we have paired up with one firm, Hastvem Hastakari, which works on hand embroidery and gold and Madhubani painting. So they make bags, jewelry, terracotta jewelry, all biodegradable stuff out of cloth, out of different other things, bamboo and stuff. So we are going to train those females. The training is going to start from August, some like last week of the August, and everything else is done. So we have started.
We lost your
FSW stands for
audio.
female sex
We lost your audio there.
It will start in
Better?
the last week of August. That's
It will start last week of August after that.
Yeah. So so we have like 2 batches, 20 each of each one of FSW. So one batch is going to do thread work, the embroidery, and the other batch is going to learn gold painting and Madhubani painting. And they're really excited. So I met them very recently last week for the final, ki haan kaun kis batch mein sikhega. And they were very excited, especially the thread work wali cheez ke liye, because they have been doing it but never thought of commercializing it and getting specialized at it. वो लोग अपने घर के लिए करते हैं. So when they realized कि अच्छा, this is something that we can make money out of it, तो they are really interested. I hope it works well. So this is something which will happen very soon. सब कुछ हो गया है इसका. So I have one thing to say about this project कि when I went there, talked to them, I realized कि जो हमारे पास ऐसा था ना कि why is it that they're doing this? Why is it that they're not doing something else? So I had a very good conversation with them, and they were like, "Ma'am, if you provide us any other source of income, we are ready to move out of it. We have our own, जिम्मेदारियां हैं, मजबूरियां हैं, that why we are into this, and we definitely don't want कि हमारी next generation आएगी वो चीज से और मतलब करे continue. But some of the places like in my district, they're doing it traditionally. कि they find कि अच्छा हमारे पूर्वज यही करते आ रहे, so this is what is good for us. This is our tradition. We need to follow the culture. वैसा भी है कुछ जगह. But then hopefully to start with one area which is Shilpi, maybe the people from other locations will get some interest in. So this is the other one, and the last one, this which was talked about, Vyomika. So I've got approval from my district mentor to set up that lab. Chhattisgarh is another concept है यहाँ पे English medium government schools का stages करके. So we are वो हर मेरे यहाँ पे 4 blocks हैं. So every block has a government English medium school. So we are trying to set up this space lab in one of the rural block. वहाँ पे इस English medium school में we are setting up this lab. So this is not yet finalized by the collector, sir, but then hopefully it will happen. So these are the few things significantly जो मैंने मतलब अपने से किए हैं, apart from all the work जो हमारी ministry से, निमी से, या IIM से होता रहता है.
Okay, good. Sobhit?
Yeah, I didn't start any new initiative, but I put my energy, I channelized my energy in the ongoing things. I had experience in government sector for a long time, so I knew the system. So I decided to rather start afresh. I channelize my energy into the things which are already on the priority of the district. So there is a GI tag silk sari in my district, and it is handloom sari. So we have DMF fund also, around 1,000 crore we get annually. So we wanted because the weavers usually get that raw material from other districts and other part of the state. So we promoted sericulture activities in large scale. There is tribal groups in some part of the district, though the district is not tribal dominated. It is one of the plain area, but some portion of the district is tribal dominated, and it is very suitable for sericulture plantation. So we took a massive plantation drive out of utilizing Manrega and DMF fund with convergence, and I coined that idea, and it somehow executed. So now I feel after 4-5 years, the farmers will or the weavers will get raw material in a lower cost, and their transportation and other cost will it will come down. And handloom, it is one of the sector where your product is sold in a normal market. If you compare to the market, it is a little higher cost. So it is special market, like niche market. You have to sell it in a specific geographical area. Now the product is in demand in Bangalore, and we took the silk sari for a program we conducted in IMD, and it was. And now we are trying with other departments primarily working for the producers group. We are trying to create a market online. So now many of the young weavers, they have come out, and now they are able to invest at least 3 to 5 lakhs out of their own pocket. So they are getting a it is being sold through online, Facebook and other channels. They are selling it by themselves, and even we are trying to tie off with Amazon and Flipkart. So this is one of the initiative done at my level. Then another, we have a center of excellence in government ITI. As we have a huge amount and there is no dearth of funds, so we tried to set up a center of excellence, and it is now functional. So the ITI students of neighboring district also will join in the center of excellence, and it is highly modernized, and it is uh, in partnership with the German government. And another initiative we took, tying of terracotta artists. We have there is a dwindling of terracotta artists. Very few people are interested, and they are not taking pride of their art. So we have some people who are in the 60s and 70s. So we tried to convince them, and they are now the master trainer. And they are now it is kind of revolutionizing the terracotta. We are inviting the people who are interested. It is earlier it is specific to certain caste. Certain caste people only practice that art, but now we organized a workshop at the district level, and my district collector is quite a future looking kind of person. So we are engaging with international organizations. There is even exchange of artists from, I think, Uganda. There are 20 artists. They came to the district, and they had a residential facility. They stayed for 60 days, and there is an amalgamation of African art and this part of eastern part of the world. So we have no doubt of fund, but some way I showed not much interest into these initiatives because of so much stakeholders involvement of stakeholders. So I just wanted to push at my capacity. If you get into the center of everything, then you can't handle everything. And
Right.
as a fellow, you have certain kind of limitations with you. So I just wanted to give a direction and give some suggestions to the decision makers, and try to pursue to get the uh, like realization, or you can assess the potential of the district. So we tried in terms of terracotta, and another is center of excellence in government ITI, and another is sericulture activities. These are my activities where I involved, but I don't take credit of it because I was just a part of the team, and I gave my expertise into this, and I always had a safe distance from getting more into it. So this is my involvement at the district level.
Okay, so
Robert, I have a question
Yeah, please
before
go.
can we
Yeah.
so you talked about this terracotta thing. So I have been planning. So I know this from a YouTube channel. I got to know that they make terracotta jewelry. So is it something that is being made in your district? I would want to get information
in
on
my
that.
district, in my district, there is no such kind of things. Now it is very basic, and we are making this cooler cup and other utility home utilities. But I think some other part of Odisha they are making it. Like there is a district called Balangir, and they have a center of excellence for terracotta, and I think they are investing a huge amount. So you can connect with the MGNF Balangir.
Sure.
Their collector is too active into this.
All right, sure. Thank you so much.
Cool. Finally, Sagnik.
Yeah, hi. So, like when we joined, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're.
Yeah. So when we joined, the concept of skilling was like lost. Like some fellows formed the DSC in the districts.
Wow.
So like वहाँ से शुरुआत हुई थी. But for me, my district already had a DSC, but it was dysfunctional. So what happened is when was after the first meeting, I conducted a survey in the district. We named it the Youth Aspiration Survey because we did not have any data to make an argument. मतलब let alone say it to Nimi or IIM, we could not even explain it to ourselves how to proceed, because there were a few set of trades, few set of like occupations which had been in the district traditionally, और अभी भी वही था. So like आप इनकम लेवल पे अगर बात कर लो तो वन पार्ट हु मतलब जो अभी भी लो इनकम कैटेगरी में है, दे प्रैक्टिस एग्रीकल्चर. So we do have Jhoom, the slash and burn, जो I used to read in books, but now if I open my window I can see मतलब पहाड़ पे आग जल रही है, like any random evening you can open it. And the other part which is more of the high income category is people employed in the government sector. ये दो category और कुछ नहीं है, like there is no business class as such. तो इस aspiration survey के बाद I realized कि dropouts was one category in the district जिस पे किसी ने ध्यान नहीं दिया था. मतलब it is one of the most vulnerable section because people are graduates, like people have at least मतलब लिटरेसी लेवल बाकी इंडिया के जो हमारे स्टेट्स है उससे बेटर है. आई वुड से कि एटलीस्ट बेसिक जो फाउंडेशनल न्यूमरेसी लिटरेसी होती है वो बढ़िया है एज कम्पेयर टू माय ओन होम टाउन लाइक झारखंड की जब मैं बात करूँ तो. बट इसके बाद देयर इज नो एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज. तो देयर वर मास्टर्स, देयर पीपल हु हैड मास्टर्स, पीपल हु हैव पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन, बट दे डू नॉट हैव एनी जॉब्स. सो दे आर स्टिल प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर द स्टेट सिविल सर्विसेज जिसमें बहुत कम वैकेंसीज होती है. So based on that, we came up, जैसे मैं मोरूंग की बात कर रहा था, तो मोरूंग से we derived this mission called Hope Morung Mission in the district. तो इसके अंदर we started 2 programs. So the first was be particularly focused on dropouts. So dropouts के साथ we started this dropout Q&A session last year after the survey. So इसमें क्या होता है कि every Saturday we used to meet and we used to discuss. Like it was a very informal interactive session. So like unlike in the other states of India where you know the bureaucracy is sort of distant from this civil life, like जैसा मैंने देखा है, यहाँ पे it is not that case. Like deputy commissioner will come and sit with the dropouts and talk. मतलब we will have a round table kind of thing and we'll talk about it. तो we'll have lunch together. तो ऐसा हमने शुरू किया था dropout session. So इससे धीरे धीरे we realized कि the problems, मतलब it was more of an experiment to understand the problems कि हो क्या रहा है. Because most of these dropouts they had been trained in the ITI. So हमको काफी इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट पता चले कि जो मोटर मैकेनिक का स्टूडेंट है उसकी प्रॉब्लम बिल्कुल अलग है एक जिसने टेलरिंग और कटिंग स्विंग पढ़ा है. बिकॉज जो टेलरिंग कटिंग स्विंग के है उनको लाइक इवन वो अगर प्रोडक्ट्स बना रहे हैं उनको मार्केटिंग की दिक्कत आ रही है. बट जो मोटर मैकेनिक है, अब प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे क्या हो रही है कि इस ही हैज बीन प्रैक्टिसिंग. मतलब देयर वाज वन पर्सन आई रिमेंबर हु हैड नॉट गॉटन द सर्टिफिकेट बट ही वाज प्रैक्टिसिंग एज अ मोटर मैकेनिक फॉर 10-12 years. तो उसको सब पता था. बट बिकॉज उसने 10th में मैथ्स ही कुडंट क्लियर, सो ही कैन नॉट गेट अ सर्टिफिकेट फॉर दैट. तो उसके वजह से ही कैन नॉट अप्लाई एनीवेयर. वो बाहर दीमापुर जाके बेटर इनकम नहीं वो कर पाता है. तो ऐसे अंदर अंदर की जो प्रॉब्लम्स थी वो हमें पता चली. बेस्ड ऑन दैट डीएसी मीटिंग्स तो ज्यादा नहीं हो पाई बट इट वाज मोर ऑफ अ फेलो डीसी कॉन्वर्सेशन. सो इस बेसिस पे बिकॉज डीएसी मतलब टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक का ना, मतलब कम से कम मेरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में और टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक everywhere in Eastern Ireland is not very productive because officers, like one officer has dual charge of 2-3 districts and he sits in the headquarters somewhere. So वो आएंगे and then there will be a DAC. So it doesn't work out that way. So we have a thing called DPDB. So ये एक planning board meeting है. Like I think it's in other state governments as well. So we incorporated a skilling hour इसी में कि अगर कोई बात करनी है हम इसी में डाल देते हैं. And if it मतलब builds up into a project, then we'll take a DSC separately. But it was mostly a conversation between me and the DC and nobody else. So we started this dropout session. उसके बाद we realized कि we do not have any training partners. Like ITI है, but उसमें भी it's very far from the district. Like it comes like by car it takes me 30 minutes to go to the ITI. It's that far. सो वो कोहिमा जाने के रास्ते में पड़ता है. तो वी कैन नॉट, हम जब अभी PMKY का भी जब हम काम कर रहे थे तो वी कुड नॉट मेक इट अ सेंटर. वी डिड इवेंचुअली मेक इट अ सेंटर बट वो इतना प्रॉब्लम था लॉजिस्टिक्स का टू सेंड स्टूडेंट्स एवरी डे. सो इसके वजह से वी it was my deputy commissioner's idea, like all credit goes to him. We started this weekly training in government schools where we employed the district line officers as the training partners.
Oh.
Because हमारे पास, like given the constraint of resources, they were the only people who knew agriculture में if we want to give training कि जैसे हमने forest department के साथ nursery management की training कराई. So he's the only person in the district who has that capability to give that kind of training. We neither can afford nor will people come from that far to give trainings in the district. और अगर होगा भी तो 2-3 दिन का, and it does not follow up नहीं हो पाता. There's no build up to that. So these were the 2 projects which we started under Hope Murung. And then this was also the time we got the special project from Sankalp last year. So we did collaborate with one of the local entrepreneurs. So we have a very good agricultural produce. Like more than agriculture, I would say horticultural produce बहुत बढ़िया है. Like जब इंडिया में सब तरफ हम सुनते हैं कि इन्फ्लेट हो रही है प्राइसेस, यहाँ पे रास्ते में गिरे हुए ऑरेंजेस, कीवी, इतना बढ़िया प्रोड्यूस है. बट और मोस्टली ऑर्गेनिक, बट बिकॉज मार्केट लिंकेज नहीं है, बिकॉज कुछ ऑर्गेनाइज नहीं है, तो इस वजह से नहीं हो पाता है. एंड ऑल्सो बिकॉज इट्स प्रोड्यूस फ्रॉम झूम, तो काफी सर्टिफिकेशन और ये सब का प्रॉब्लम है. बिकॉज हमारा जो ODOP है खोला, तो उसको लेकर हम ये इशू फेस कर रहे हैं कि वी वांट टू गेट इट ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन ताकि ई मार्केटिंग करा पाए. बट बिकॉज वो झूम के थ्रू होता है तो उसका वो नहीं मिल पा रहा है, नॉर्म्स के अंदर वो फिट नहीं हो रहा है. So we proposed this idea of food processing units. So हम माइक्रो फूड प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट्स खोलना चाहते थे. लॉन्गकिम एरिया जो एरिया है, तो वहीं के एंटरप्रेन्योर थे, तो उनके साथ हमने ये प्रोसेस शुरू किया. वी मेड द प्रोजेक्ट, बट देन इवेंचुअली मिनिस्ट्री डिड नॉट रिप्लाई. इट हैज बीन अ ईयर. So that project, so we are trying to get it done through the SSDM, through any private party, because it's a substantial amount. मतलब neither the entrepreneur nor the district administration can do it together. Like even if they put in their funds together, वो नहीं हो पाएगा. इसके बाद like we have a very strong network of student unions in the district. Like it not in the district, like in Nagaland per se. So यहाँ पे जो tribal student.
No, I think he lost his network.
Yeah.
I have to edit out a couple of seconds from this.
Sagnik, can you hear us?
And they do work a lot in the student unions, student bodies.
Okay.
Sagnik, can you repeat
lost
yourself
for the
from
last
the
10
student
seconds.
union part?
Hello?
Yeah, we kind of
Can you
lost
repeat?
the last 10-15 seconds.
Yeah, so I was speaking ki like one of the biggest stakeholders in the development process here are the student unions. So we do have like ये हर tribe के अपने अपने student union होता है, और in like we work with them also. Like mostly we work with them as far as मतलब mobilization का हो गया है, फिर जो भी हमारा काम होता है ये ही हमारी help करते हैं. So they had a project called Saudak. So as I was telling ki the people here prepare for civil services as one of the main employment opportunities in the state. तो इसके लिए वी डू नॉट हैव एनी कोचिंग, कोई ट्रेनिंग, कोई एक्सपोजर नहीं है हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में, ईस्टर्न नागालैंड में. सो वी स्टार्टेड अ कोचिंग सेंटर, लाइक दे स्टार्टेड इट, एंड आई वाज वर्किंग एज अ लाइक इकोनॉमिक्स फैकल्टी देयर. सो वी वर्कड फॉर अराउंड 3-5 months. बेसिक जो मैथ्स CSAT वाला सेक्शन होता है वो, and then the economics which I was taking. So and we are very happy that at least 2-3 people got through prelims and one of them got through mains. अभी तक इंटरव्यू हुआ नहीं है. So but then that was a very crucial experience. मतलब मेरे learning experience का part था कि there were students who were more qualified than I was. Like there were students who had post graduation, students who were like, there was one girl who was doing a PhD as well, but that मतलब वो exposure नहीं था which we have, because we got the opportunities to go to good institutions, work with the government. तो हमको वो exposure था, हमको पता था कि कैसे उसको apply करना होता है, but वो I found missing. And इसके बाद we have had a very very good experience. Like all the fellows in Nagaland had a very good experience with elections. So we had the state elections, assembly elections in from February to April. तो वो तो पूरा टाइम उसी में गया है हमारा. तो लॉट ऑफ इलेक्शन स्टोरीज उसके अंदर. एंड इसके अलावा आई थिंक वो शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेनिंग्स जो होती है but we do not have a lot of trainings, to be very honest. We more are in the process of setting up the skilling ecosystem as opposed to giving trainings, क्योंकि उसके बाद कोई follow up नहीं हो पाता है, placements नहीं होती है, तो doesn't make sense.
So yeah, in case you don't have any questions for each other, then we can just move on to the final part where you share your fun experiences, embarrassing moments, anything. This is an open session now. Okay. So with you have a lot to share because you read a lot of books, I believe. 50 books का target था, कितने हो गए?
I think 20 plus हुआ है और it's been a long time. क्या बोलते हैं, wisdom मेरा मतलब wish list में था and I didn't get much time. मेरा previous job में पूरा I was kind of imprisoned. मैं सुबह 10 बजे जाता था, लंच के लिए आता था, 1-2 घंटे रहता था, देन अप टू 9-10 PM में ऑफिस में रहता था, कुछ काम करूँ ना करूँ. तो मैं ऐसे I was just I like to read and I love to read, but I never been into this reading book habit. I read articles, column, and opinion, views, but then I got into MGNF. I got sufficient time for myself, so out of boredom, I would say I started reading, and some of my friends they have read more than 500-600 books. So I had that inner call that I should also join them because uh, वो एक it's kind of कीड़ा, मतलब आपके दिमाग में वो रहता है, but because of you are preoccupied with things, you don't get time. Or I feel reading book is kind of it's about your how your mind space is occupied. If you are free and if you are balanced, then only you can read. Otherwise, if you are you read but you don't get that pleasure of reading, you don't get sometimes I used to read a lot of 5 pages, 10 pages, but I never get into it. So that was my experience. But I started reading, and now I have that consistency of finishing book. If I don't find it good also, I still read it. And I don't have that likeliness for some genre of book. I read random books. Like I get recommendations. Whatever it comes to me, I just read it. So I have completed 20 plus now. It's taking time. So I hope now onwards I will try to finish at least 2 books in a week. So I have to get more time, and my reading pace is quite good. I will say. So it manages my time, and I never skip things. Once I read, even I read preface, I read everything, all the things, up to the last sentence. Otherwise, I don't get that
A satisfaction of closure, maybe.
Yes.
A sense of closure that you have read every single. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Sagnik, I just wanted to ask you because see, episode 14 we had this fellow from UP. Okay, so he worked on the elections. And he was sharing some like really funny memes and all, like movie ke dialogues, and they have used those with sweep, SVEEP. So in order to promote like voter awareness. So did you guys get to do something interesting in your election?
Yeah, so like building on that, I was the sort of the head for sweep, I would say. Like I was assisting the sweep program in the district, and it's a like Nagaland is very, very talented when it comes to music.
Okay, yeah.
So we have a lot of musicians. So we did this sort of street performance where we invited a lot of like local musicians, and then we had a performance based on that, ki clean campaign kaise karna hai. And like to be very honest, Vedant, यहाँ पे voter turnout का problem नहीं है.
Okay.
We have one of the highest voter turnouts. Like the day of the counting, me and my officer, we were calculating कि क्या बोलते हैं कितने per minute vote आ रहे. It was exceeding mathematics because of other reasons, unethical reasons. Because मतलब मैं ऑफिस में घर से निकल रहा था सुबह 4 बजे to go to the office. My neighbors were इलेक्शन के टाइम पे कुछ नहीं था. मतलब for 2-3 days, ऐसा नहीं कि हमेशा, मतलब for 2-3 days because थोड़ा हाई सिक्योरिटी इश्यूज भी थे उस टाइम पे. So I saw my neighbors lining up जाके
Wow.
कि 2 बजे 3 बजे से निकल के तो जा रहे हैं सो वोट देने के लिए. तो वोटर टर्नआउट का इशू नहीं था. क्लीन इलेक्शंस ऑब्वियसली वाज like was one of the core areas we focused in sweep. लेकिन like it was a very different experience for like as far as elections because ये हमको observers बता रहे थे जो दिल्ली से आए थे कि इलेक्शन का प्रोसीजर मतलब ऑब्वियसली द रूल्स द नॉर्म्स आर सेम बट द एक्सपीरियंस उनका था बिकॉज उनको सालों सालों हर एक ऑलमोस्ट सारे स्टेट्स का एक्सपीरियंस है. तो माई द जनरल ऑब्जर्वर जिनके साथ मैं काम कर रहा था वो हरियाणा से थे. तो एंड ही इज अ वेरी सीनियर आईएएस ऑफिसर. तो उनको बहुत अच्छे से आइडिया था कि कैसे क्या चीजें होती है. तो जब हम रिपोर्ट बनाते थे साथ में तो इट वाज लाइक बहुत अलग एक्सपीरियंस है उनके लिए भी क्योंकि मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट जो होता है उसके अंदर केसेस नहीं आ रहे हैं या फिर डेटा का प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. तो मैंने उनको बताया सर डेटा का प्रॉब्लम मुझे 1.5 साल से हो रहा है. नहीं भी जब भी मांगती है डेटा होता ही नहीं है. तो मतलब डेटा का जो पार्ट है रोल है गवर्नेंस में जो भी इमर्ज हो रहा है वो इज स्टिल लॉस्ट इन आवर टीम मतलब. एंड आई होप वो धीरे धीरे बेटर होगा. तो वो काफी बड़ा इशू था हमारे टाइम
I,
इलेक्शंस के
I,
टाइम.
I just want to add, I had experience in 2019 general election. I was in government sector and I was the master trainer there also. So only election is the time where the government really do work. They come into a team and there will be no excuses. The district collector is district election officer and everything is done in a very systematic and very it's kind of war footing. So being involved in election is it's really if you are a real good worker then you will enjoy the process. If you work for more than 15 hours 16 hours then also you enjoy the things. I was deputed for counting in 2019, so we were there up to 4 a.m. It started at early morning and it was the counting it was EVM but still there is so many things record things are done and very it's very sensitive also and there is very cross checking. There is the tabulation done then it is passed through then the signature kind of things. So it's the best thing in government setup. If you are involved in election process nobody will hamper your work, nobody will come across your work, everything will be reported to the higher authority. So it is the best management happen in government. The if we take the lessons from election management to other things then things will improve quite if that is 10% or 5% of that admin management will be taken into skilling then the skilling scenario will change a lot. And I think Sagnik will agree with me.
I agree completely agree.
And finally, Aditya, Kumud, if you
So I have one, yeah, I have a very embarrassing moment.
go
Not very embarrassing, but so I have this habit of, getting emotionally connected with the SHG women, especially those who are tortured by the government people. जैसे कि कुछ order दे दिए कि there is a CM visit or some bureaucrat is coming up and you have to prepare something and then event हो गया no payment सामान ही नहीं दिए so it gets wasted. तो मेरा ना बहुत ऐसे I am like अरे बेचारे I feel very bad about it.
Right.
So this is a learning for me कि however emotionally attached you are with those people, whatever, you cannot, take up everything and solve everything. So मेरा ऐसा था कि I had to go to my CEO asking for such a silly thing. So there is a project here, CMart, Chhattisgarh Mart. So in every district they have set up a one-stop store जहाँ पे all the SHG जो भी जहाँ पे भी बना रहे हैं उस district में they can sell their products through that store. वो वहाँ पे फ्री में रख के अपना सामान सर्व कर सकते हैं and they can get the money. तो वहाँ पे when this it was set up in April 2022, so we were part of that committee, working for them, and it is also run by SHG. तो those they started, they gave all the funding. वैसा होता ना कि शुरू में सब कर दिया and then it is on the females कि कैसे चलाना है चलाओ, we are not going to assist you for anything. So I went to collectors or my district managers कि sir at least give them some training. They have been out of their house for once and how can they run a big store like this?
Right.
But नहीं हुआ and then those ladies came up to me complaining कि ma'am अभी पर्दे लगे हैं नए हमारे यहाँ पे and then sir is asking us for the noodle. He's asking us for the bill, बताइए हम लोग कहाँ से लेके आए हैं, अभी तो हमारे महीने में 1500 रुपए भी नहीं निकलते हैं, all of that stuff. and I was like, I felt it कि मतलब मुझे ना empathy लगता है कि यार कैसे होगा ऐसे. So I went up to my mentor. I tried talking to the nodal officer कि sir can you please like manage? It was not big, मतलब ऐसा ना 8-9 हज़ार का बिल था. मैंने सर आप manage कर लो. How is it I'm gonna get all of this money? अभी तो start हुआ है shop 1 महीने भी नहीं हुआ है. But he was like not agreeing to because he had some clash with the females. And officers का अपना ego है कि मेरी wife आई थी, उठ के नमस्ते भी नहीं किए. मैम बताइए ऐसे ऐसे लोग के लिए मैं क्यों रीच करूँ? It's like वाइफ आई थी, ठीक है, उनको क्या पता कि वाइफ कौन है. बट देन I had to go to my CEO because those females were really tortured by the nodal officer कि फिजूल की चीजें कुछ भी ऐसे. Going to him saying कि सर 9,000 रुपए का बिल है पर्दे का, वो लोग नहीं दे पाएंगे. बिजली का बिल है वो लोग नहीं दे पाएंगे अभी. They have just set up and they're not making enough money out of it. Can you please talk to the nodal officer? And the nodal officer had definitely bunch of complaints कि महिलाएं ऐसे नहीं करती हैं, ऐसे नहीं करती हैं, ऐसे नहीं करती हैं. I cannot assist them. And though a few of them were definitely सही थी, उनकी भी कुछ गलती थी. So this is a learning कि whenever you are, it was very embarrassing for me to go to an officer and say कि सर पर्दे का बिल निकलवा दीजिए please, and somebody who is CEO जिला पंचायत. But I had to do that. और मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था मैं अपने घर के पर्दे का बिल मांग रही हूँ उनसे. Anyhow, फिर उनका when I got to know कि अच्छा there are few things that they are also not agreeing to, उन लोग जो follow नहीं कर रहे हैं norms. तो मतलब मुझे ये learning मिली थी उस time पे कि however you are attached to a certain section of beneficiary, please get both side का information and then only should you go to some officer and talk about it or try to solve it out. तो वो मेरे साथ ऐसा 2-3 बार हुआ है. But then I still I have that sensitive connection to them कि उन लोगों को कुछ भी चाहिए होता है ना. So I kind of keeping my self esteem aside, I go to my officer, try to sir please if we can assist them in this thing. And another really embarrassing moment was, so I have a huge age gap यहाँ के officers के साथ. So like the one who is young, the closest to me is कि 10 साल का difference है age का. So it gets a little difficult to merge with them. ऐसे friendly वाला बिल्कुल भी नहीं हो पाता. And also मेरा जो office है, there has never been a female officer in that office, never ever of all these years. So I'm the first and the only female officer right now. So some of us some of the officers और कुछ we planned a movie for night. तो मुझे ऐसा नहीं पता था कि इतना ज्यादा ऑफिशियली चीजें देखना पड़ता है कि आप किसके साथ जा रहे हो तो फिर कोई देख ना ले, नहीं तो कल को बातें होंगी ऑफिस में. तो we planned a late, मतलब ऐसे ना 9 बजे की मूवी हमने प्लान की. एंड मैं गुपचुप खा रही थी वहां पे जहाँ पे हॉल है उसके जस्ट नीचे. And all of a sudden, a peon turned up from Jila Panchayat. He's like, ma'am, it was so embarrassing for me कि वो मुझे गुपचुप खाते देख रहे हैं. And सर थोड़ा मतलब पीछे खड़े हुए थे, 3 जो और आए थे. And another ma'am was there from some other department. And all of them, as soon as they saw कि this peon is there when I'm eating gupchup, they all rushed so fast up to the the movie hall was up in the first or second floor. वो इतनी जल्दी भागे वहां से. And I was totally speechless में थी रात में, आधी रात में, मतलब 9 बजे अकेले क्यों गुपचुप खा रही हूँ वहां खड़े होके. लाइक मैम मैं आपको छोड़ के आता हूँ घर तक. आई कुड नॉट टेल हिम कि नहीं मुझे नहीं जाना है, मेरी मूवी का प्लान है. बट देन आई टोल्ड हिम कि नहीं आप भैया रहने दो, मैं चली जाऊंगी घर. बट देन ही अर्ज्ड सो मच एंड देन आई हैड वाज लाइक ठीक है आप यहाँ तक ड्रॉप कर दो, मैं यहाँ से चली जाऊंगी. सो ही ड्रॉप मी हाफ में. मैंने बोला बस मेरा घर यही पास में है. एंड देन आई हैड टू कम बैक टू गेट टू द मूवी ऑल्सो. वैसी सिचुएशन यहाँ पे बहुत फनी हो जाती है कि मतलब यू हैव टू प्लान आउट समथिंग. दिस प्लेस इज सो स्मॉल, 1.5 किलोमीटर के रेडियस में पूरा छोटा सा टाउन है. तो आपको इतनी चीजें सोचनी पड़ती है ना कि कौन देख रहा है कौन नहीं देख रहा है. तो यू कैन नॉट प्लान लेट नाइट मूवीज, घूमना फिरना. दैट्स अ बिग नो. अगर मेरे को जाना है सो आई हैव टू गो टू रायपुर, व्हिच इज द स्टेट कैपिटल, 120 किलोमीटर्स फ्रॉम हियर. सो ऑल द फेलोज आल्सो अगर हमें कुछ प्लान करना हो तो वी गो टू रायपुर, वी प्लान देयर एंड वी कम बैक टू आवर डिस्ट्रिक्ट. दैट वाज वन एम्बैरेसिंग मोमेंट. आई वाज नॉट एबल टू से कि मुझे मूवी जाना है, मतलब खा रहे हैं. इज लाइक नहीं मैम घर छोड़ के आएंगे आपको. दैट्स वन.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so has everyone shared or?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
go
an
ahead.
open session. Don't wait for someone to jump.
Okay.
If you want to speak, speak.
Yeah, so embarrassing to name, I have a lot of funny incidents. I don't know how many of them are appropriate to share, but the first one, the day the first day when I reported to my mentor. So actually, UP में आप में से तो कोई नहीं है. So UP में ऐसा है, मतलब hierarchy the district magistrate is there. उसके बाद superintendent of police and chief development officer. The superintendent and the chief development officer, they are the senior most officers after district magistrate. So generally यूपी में फेलोज सीडीओ को रिपोर्ट करते हैं. So a CDO can be either an IS officer or a state PCS officer. So the first day when I went to meet my CDO, actually मुझे भी ज़्यादा पता नहीं था, and what they want to hear is very specific, और मतलब आप एक लाइन में समझा दो बस उन्हें कि आप क्या करने आए. So I also went and I also had a lot of confusions that मैं क्या ही बोलूँगा, and I was like कि चलो चलते देखते हैं, सर कुछ इनिशिएट करेंगे, मैं कुछ कंटिन्यू करूँगा उसके पास. तो मैं अंदर घुसा तो there were like 3-4 video, हाँ 4 videos were there from different blogs, and he was scolding them outrightly, like he was scolding me, he was scolding like get out from here, you how the hell you come here, and he was shouting. तो ये 3-4 मिनट चला, and I was in the office only, so मैं मूड बना चुका था कि चलो कल मिलेंगे. मैं थोड़ा पलट ही रहा था अपने अपने आप को लेकर. ही इज जस्ट सॉ मी, बोला हाँ बताइए क्या है आपका. तो मैंने कहा सर मैं आई एम लखनऊ एंड MSD एंड ऑल. मैंने वो इंस्टीट्यूशन के नाम ले दिए पहले. तो उसने बोला हाँ हाँ तो बताइए फिर क्या है, लाइए पत्र लाइए. अब पत्र तो कुछ था नहीं उस टाइम. तो आई हैड दैट PDF only, तो आई शोड हिम इन मोबाइल, एंड ही वाज नॉट एट ऑल टेक्नो फ्रेंडली. तो ही वाज जस्ट लुकिंग एट मी that how dare he even show mobile to me. I am just used papers only. So मैंने उसको पढ़ के उनको थोड़ा पढ़ के समझा दिया सर ऐसा ऐसा. तो उन्होंने कहा पहले आप प्रिंट आउट कर लाइए. प्रिंट आउट आया, फिर उन्होंने फिर देखा, फिर वही चीज करी. उन्होंने पूछा अच्छा तो क्या करेंगे फिर आप. आई वाज लाइक सर आप बताइए, आप सजेस्ट यू गाइड मी. कह रहे काम करो, कितने साल के हो. मैंने कहा सर आई एम 25. आई वाज 25 एट दैट. तो ही वाज लाइक ये और पढ़ाई क्या किया है. मैंने सर बीटेक एंड. बोले इसमें कितना पैसा मिलता है. तो एक तो मैं भी यहाँ पे थोड़े बायसेस लेके आया था. आई वाज लाइक कि मैं यहाँ पे बताऊंगा नहीं 50,000. आई वाज लाइक मुझे 20,000 मिलता है, तो ज्यादा बताओगे पैसे ज्यादा काम देंगे. तो आई वाज लाइक 20,000 बोलेंगे सब कुछ स्टार्टिंग. मैं 20,000 बोलो. तो ही जस्ट हर्ट कि हाँ बीटेक किया. एक काम करो, घर चले जाओ, जाओ डिस्ट्रिक्ट की चिंता छोड़ो, जाओ तैयारी करो. ही आस्क्ड कि यूपीएससी एंड ऑल. तो ही वाज लाइक जाओ घर चले जाओ, यूपीएससी की तैयारी करो, डिस्ट्रिक्ट की बिल्कुल चिंता मत करो. और मैंने भी कुछ ज्यादा बोला नहीं. मैंने ठीक है कुछ दिनों बाद फिर से मिलते हैं. तो मैं आ गया वैसे वापस. फिर 2-3 दिन बाद ऐसा था कि IIM लखनऊ एंड यूपी स्किल डेवलपमेंट मिशन दे जॉइंटली ऑर्गेनाइज एन वर्कशॉप एट IIM लखनऊ. तो उसमें ऐसा था कि आप अपने 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 मेंटर से कंसल्ट करके उनके लिए एक स्लॉट बुक कर सकते हो आप. 3 दिन के 3 स्लॉट से. तो आई वेंट बैक टू हिम. आई वाज लाइक, और उस टाइम इलेक्शंस भी आ रहे थे, लाइक इट वाज द मंथ ऑफ नवंबर दिसंबर, और मार्च में इलेक्शंस थे. तो आई आस्क्ड हिम कि सर ऐसा ऐसा एक वर्कशॉप ऑर्गेनाइज हो रहा है, आप बता दो आप जब फ्री हो तो मैं आपका स्लॉट बुक कर देता हूँ. ही वाज लाइक अरे यार कहाँ भेजोगे यार, ये लखनऊ में कहाँ जाऊंगा, मेरे पास इतना काम है, इलेक्शन है, ऐसा है वैसा है. तो उस टाइम मुझे भी पता चला कि ऐसा है कि बहुत सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जो मेंटर्स नहीं जाना चाह रहे हैं, तो वहाँ फेलोज अपने आप को अपना भी नाम नॉमिनेट करके खुद भी जा सकते हैं. मैं सोचा मैं सर को इन्फॉर्म करके और अपना नाम डाल दूँ. मैंने कहा कि सर मैं आप अगर परमिशन तो मैं चला जाता हूँ. बिकॉज में कोई कहीं नहीं जाएगा, डिस्ट्रिक्ट के बाहर कोई कहीं नहीं जाएगा. मैंने बता दिया आपको ऐसा. ही इज द सेम गाय, ही वाज सेइंग घर चले जाओ एंड ऑल, एंड ही इज सेइंग कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट से बाहर कोई नहीं जाएगा. वो कह रहा है यहाँ. तो ऐसा कई इंसिडेंट्स हुए हैं. मतलब समझ नहीं आता, ये लोग पहले मीटिंग कुछ बोलते हैं, सेकंड मीटिंग में कुछ बोल देते हैं. और एक तो आई डोंट नो इट इज फनी और एम्बैरेसिंग, बट पीपल यूजुअली कॉल मी सरकारी दामाद हियर. लाइक एक तो मैं आता भी महीने में 1-2 बार ही हूँ. तो दे आर लाइक सरकारी दामाद आ गए, आज चाय वाय मंगाओ, आज खाना, आज ऐसा वैसा. और सही में आता है, नो इट इज नॉट दैट से मॉकिंगली. मैं आता हूँ तो सही में कि आज ये आया है तो आज चाय वाय मंगाओ, सब कुछ मंगाओ, आज बात बात करेंगे बढ़िया. तो ऐसा इंसिडेंट चलते रहते हैं. और मतलब ऐसा एम्बैरेसिंग तो कुछ नहीं हुआ. आई फाइंड पीपल क्वाइट जॉली हियर, दे आर वेरी फन लविंग. तो अच्छा रहा एक्सपीरियंस. काम ज्यादा
आई
नहीं हो
हैव
पाया.
अ क्वेश्चन. 1-2 दिन जाते हैं ऑफिस तो बाकी दिन मतलब ऑफिस नहीं जाते हैं.
नहीं,
व्हाट डू यू डू इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट देन?
नो मतलब ऑफिस इन द सेंस की रिपोर्ट नहीं करता. मतलब आई कैन गो फॉर इंस्पेक्शन, आई कैन गो टू एनी स्कूल और किसी इंडस्ट्री वाले के यहाँ ऐसे चले जा सकते. इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी. वो अटेंडेंस वाला सिस्टम नहीं है दैट यू नीड टू साइन अप.
मेरा I want to mention a funny incident. My mentor was ADM, additional district magistrate revenue. तो मैं नए साल में उनको मुबारक देने गया, एंड आई हैड ए डायरी एंड पेन, ऐसे मतलब courtesy के हिसाब से. आई डिडंट हैव बकेट. तो वो ही वाज वेरी कोर्डियल विथ मी, एंड जब भी आई यूज टू गो फॉर टेकिंग परमिशन, मेरा एम है सर बेंगलोर, जाओ यार घूमो, घूम के आओ, हमें छुट्टी नहीं मिल रहा है, आप लोगों को मिल रहा है, जाओ आराम से जाओ, आराम से आओ. सो मैं जब गया देन देयर वर आई थिंक 10-15 पीपल सिटिंग देयर, एंड आई सेड मतलब पूरा पीछे बैठ गया. देन ही सॉ मी, और देन वी एक्सचेंज स्माइल. देन सबको जब खत्म हो गया सबका, तो फ्रंट मुझे बुला ले, आ जाओ सुमित आगे, और क्या है, क्या चल रहा है. तो मैं बोला सर नया साल आपको मिला नहीं था सर. आई वेंट आफ्टर 5-6 days आफ्टर न्यू ईयर. मतलब जनवरी 1 के बाद। देन आई हैड एक्सचेंज, सब ठीक है सर, ये चल रहा है। देन सर एक सर ही अप्रोच में कि फोटो लेना है, बिकॉज एवरीवन टेक पिक जब मिलने आते हैं न्यू ईयर। तो हाँ सर, तो चलो। अब उनके पास ही है, ओके, मतलब फुल अप, मतलब ओके, आप रूम में पूरा भरा पड़ा था। तो ही ऑफर्ड मी, चलो बाकी लोग मुझे बुके दे रहे हैं, मैं आपको देता हूँ। देन वी क्लिक ए पिक, और देन आई केम बैक। तो एडीएम रेवेन्यू वाज वेरी cordial, एंड एवरी टाइम, इवन जाजपुर महोत्सव हुआ था, तो आई वेंट देयर, एंड वीआईपी वो जोन में थे, तो आई डिडंट हैव वीआईपी पास। एंड एट द एंड ऑफ महोत्सव के, मतलब लास्ट लास्ट तक 10-11 लोग जब खत्म हुए, देन वीआईपी जोन में एंट्री करवाए, तो आई वेंट इनसाइड। देन ऑल्सो ही हिमसेल्फ took selfie, and very cordial and very friendly. So if I compare my this bonding with other fellows, then they are in a very distasteful state. तो मेरा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में बहुत ही अच्छा, मतलब मैं जब जहाँ जाता हूँ, सबसे पहला तो एक रूल है कि आपको एक अच्छा सा नमस्ते बोलना है। इट शुड बी लाइक कि आप पूरा रेस्पेक्ट दे रहे हो। देन आप जोन पकड़ना है कि वो कैसा पर्सनालिटी है, किस बात में आप बात कर सकते हो। थोड़ा सा मतलब उसमें आपको, अगर इफ यू आर मास्टरी ऑन दैट, देन थिंग्स बिकम वेरी नॉर्मल। एंड देयर विल बी ऑफिसर्स वेयर यू कांट अप्रोच देम, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट कन्विंस देम, सो उसको छोड़ना है। तो आई हैड दैट एडवांटेज ऑफ वर्किंग इन गवर्नमेंट सो फॉर ए लॉन्ग टाइम। सो मैं कहीं भी जाता हूँ तो आई हैव टी विथ देम, आई ऑफर ए चॉकलेट टू देम, और ऐसे देन आई feeling that atmosphere, then I start discussing things, politics, then other things. If some person is interested into movie or other things which are very common with me, then I try to pursue. And it's about how you make the thing interesting. Then if personal bonding के बाद, then you will surely get support and kind of whatever requirement you need. And my district, my initially we Odisha fellow, we were deputed in district employment exchange, and it is around 15 kilometer. I didn't have bike that time. I had bike in my previous workstation. तो मुझे 2 महीना लगा वो सब चीज करने के लिए। तो देन आई थॉट, मैं मेरा डीओ डिस्ट्रिक्ट एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑफिसर, आई अप्रोच हिम, ही सेड ओके, आपको ऑफिस मतलब ऐसे कंपल्सन नहीं है, आप आ सकते हो। देन आई स्टार्टेड विजिटिंग कलेक्ट्रेट। आई डिडंट हैव एनी वर्क, आई विजिटेड ऑल द सेक्शंस। आई स्टार्टेड बिल्डिंग रेपो, किसी के रूम पे भी घुस जाता था, सर क्या है, ये है, वो है। देन आई स्टार्टेड मेकिंग ए सोशल कनेक्शंस विद देम। Then it was very far, and it didn't have any reason to go 15 kilometers from my district headquarters. So I made an office order, and I had a office space in chief district officer, chief development officer, CDO come executive officer, Jila Parishad. Then I got that liberty of visiting any office. So I feel how frequently you visit someone, and what kind of things you bring to them, like smile or kind of respect or matter of discussions, then it becomes very natural to them. They accept you, and you become a part of the government. Otherwise, it's very difficult to make a rapport with them. It's my take.
Okay, cool. So, if there are any final inputs from, I mean, experiences to share from you guys, else we
I would like to
Okay,
just
good.
clip my mind. Actually, I think 3-4 months back, ये शायद करवा चौथ होता है ना, तो उस दिन ऑफिस में like everyone was in celebrated. आज जल्दी काम खत्म करो, 5 बजे तक हमें जाना है. Luckily, I was also there in the office. So everyone just went by 5 or 5:30, and I was sitting there. So मैं उस दिन ऑफिस से निकला, मैंने एक टीम को बोला कि आप बंद कर दो भैया, मैं जा रहा हूँ। उसके बाद मैं सीढ़ियों से उतर रहा था, I found one officer that he is district skill not a social welfare officer. Yeah, district social welfare officer. We call him समाज कल्याण अधिकारी. So मैं सीढ़ियों से उतर रहा हूँ, he also came by from his room, and he saw me, and he was like, अरे आदित्य, आज इतनी लेट? मैंने कहा हाँ सर, वो थोड़ा काम था। तो he was like, आज तो करवा चौथ है, शादी वादी नहीं हुई? मैंने कहा नहीं सर, मेरी शादी। तो फिर I also asked the same question, सर आप कैसे इतना लेट, आपकी शादी नहीं हुई? He was like, नहीं मेरी भी नहीं हुई। मैंने कहा he is in 50s, he is literally in his 50s. I was like, सर कैसे, आपकी शादी कैसे नहीं हुई सर? तो कह रहे अरे छोड़ो यार। मैंने कहा नहीं सर, इट्स ओके, आप नहीं बताना चाहते हो तो फिर मैं चलता हूँ। कह रहे नहीं, सुनो सुनो, अच्छा यार। फिर लाइक ही वाज की यार मैं इतना बिजी हो गया, ट्रांसफर्स एंड फाइल्स एंड ऑल दैट मुझे टाइम ही नहीं मिला, ऐसा वैसा। फिर मैंने सोचा यार ये रीजन सेटिस्फैक्टरी नहीं है, थोड़ा पता करना चाहिए। मतलब मेरे लिए, मेरे अंदर क्यूरियोसिटी आई कि इतने कितने ट्रांसफर्स हो रहे हैं, किसी को शादी करने का टाइम नहीं। देन आई आस्क्ड, मतलब मेरे जो और भी ऑफिसर्स हैं जिनसे थोड़ी अच्छे कम्युनिकेशन, उनसे मैंने पूछा, लाइक दे वर लाइक यार ये सस्पेंडेड था 3-3 साल तक, ये कौन से ट्रांसफर, ये तो सस्पेंडेड रहता था, ऐसा वैसा कुछ भी नहीं है। तो मतलब वही फलाने ढुमकाने चार्जेस, सिविल सूट्स एंड क्रिमिनल सूट्स, तो इसकी वजह से उनका प्रोफाइल ही ऐसा है। तो आई गॉट टू नो कि इनकी तो बात ही अलग है।
अच्छा हुआ शादी नहीं
I
की है, नहीं तो खुद के साथ और किसी को भी ये कर-
No, given that
I
he was suspended for such a long time, he would have had a fruitful marital life, you know.
I think
Anyway, yeah.
Vedant, if there is time, I would like to share one incident
Okay,
from
go
if
on.
if
Yeah,
it's okay, like
sure. Kumud, we can
Kumud, like
5 minutes.
you have to, हाँ. So
Okay.
this is like last year का incident है कि after AM3 we were returning from Kerala, so it takes us around, if we come by bus, so it takes around 20 hours to reach our district. So from Dimapur, like from Nagaland, like where,
Exactly.
हाँ.
Because from Kerala, how can you reach Nagaland in 20 hours?
So it takes 20 hours in general to reach our districts from Dimapur. So we took the bus and रात को, so me and my friend Jayant, we were traveling together क्योंकि हमारा डिस्ट्रिक्ट आसपास है. So रात 2 बजे, and it was August, तो मानसून चल रहा था, and we were coming, and रात 2 बजे मुझे ऐसे लोग उठा रहे, मैं कोई भी नहीं है उठ के, पूरी बस खाली है जंगलों के बीच. इसलिए
Oh.
हो गया है, मैं नीचे उतर के देख रहा हूँ कि बस जो है वो रास्ता जो है, मतलब इट वाज अ ब्लैक टॉप रोड, वो पूरा रास्ता ही दलदल बन गया है और वो बस पूरी अंदर घुस गई है. तो हमने रात 2 बजे पूरे बस के लोगों ने वो बस खींची, बस पे रस्सी लगाई. इट वाज अ बिग लाइक ट्रैवलर बस जो होता है, और हम खींचते खींचते सोच भी लेते कि निकलेगा भी, मतलब. और ऐसे करते करते सनराइज हो गया. तो हमको ऐसे लगा कि यह डिफाइनिंग मोमेंट हो गया लाइफ में और कुछ देखना बाकी नहीं कि आज हमने बस खींच ली. तो बाद में मैंने ऑफिस में जाके मैं बहुत क्यूरियस हो गया तो उस रास्ते को लेके कि हुआ क्या, कि मतलब ऐसा, मतलब इसलिए इतने एक्सीडेंट्स होते हैं, मतलब काफी खराब रास्तों की हालत है. तो अब मुझे पता चला कि वो रोड एक्चुअली ब्लैक टॉप की गई थी, लेकिन वो रोड बारिश में धुल गई. तो वो बारिश में ऐसी धुली कि एक ब्लैक टॉप रोड पूरी दलदल बन गई, और उसके ऊपर नेविगेशन, दैट इज द ओनली रूट टू गेट टू माय डिस्ट्रिक्ट.
Oh.
तो हमको उस दिन बहुत एक डीप रियलाइजेशन हुई कि कहाँ है, क्या चल रहा है, मतलब नो डेवलपमेंट की जब हम बातें करते हैं, स्किल डेवलपमेंट तो बहुत दूर की बात है, यहाँ पे
Right.
रोड डेवलपमेंट पे फोकस करना चाहिए.
Wow.
That is
Okay, cool. So let's wrap up this episode and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Siddhesh, any final words? Okay, cool.
Thank you.